Right now at 478-781-7433. Bubba's Mobile and Tire Repair, LLC.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily... The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
It is now time for the live broadcast of the NAACP with Gwenette, Westbrooks, and Mr. Dumas.
And good evening, and welcome to another segment of the NAACP Truth Show. I'm Willie Dumas, your host. So happy you could join us this evening. I hope you had a great weekend. Some very nice weather we've had this past week as well as today. I don't know if it's spring or summer. Some real hot temperatures, but we're going to enjoy it while it lasts. I have a special guest with us today. Miss Sabrina Friday is joining us today from the Mother's Nest LLC, and we're going to talk with her in just a few moments and let her share what her organization brings to our community here in Macon-Bibb. Those of you who tune in every week with us, we certainly appreciate you tuning in by Facebook as well as by radio. And we always say that you're the best part of WDDO, and we're always happy to have you. So at this time, I'm going to introduce you to our guest, Miss Sabrina Friday. Thank you for being here. And just let our listening audience know your headset, is it close to your ears? Okay. I don't know, we were getting an echo, and our technician may be able to take care of that. But if you would, just tell us a little bit about the Mother's Nest.
Okay, well, thank you for welcoming me here to talk with you today about Mother's Nest. Mother's Nest is a nonprofit organization located here in Macon, Georgia, to basically give a resource to the underserved community. We give out anything baby, diapers, wipes, car seats, crib, baby at central, parenting training, workforce development, resume building. We also provide transportation and childcare. So anything that a mom may need to help her have a healthy baby, Mother's Nest steps in and fill that void.
Well, it's good to know that these type of services are here in the Middle Georgia area. As we were having a conversation earlier before the show, we talked about during the time when the SNAP benefits were cut, and there were a lot of people kind of scrambling to know how they were going to feed their families. And we know that food is a necessity, but when you've got a small child, some of the things that you guys provide become quite needed. And so did you see an influx of individuals needing services from your particular organization during that time?
Oh, yes, absolutely. A lot of our moms, we have over 650 moms, and a lot of them lost their benefits. So it was up to me as the executive director of Mother's Nest to reach out to our city and local officials and say, hey, we're seeing an influx of mothers and caretakers saying, I don't have any food, I ran out. So the city was graceful enough to give us a $5,000 grant. So we partnered with the Middle Georgia Food Bank, and we provided those resources to the families that are in need. And we provide that every Monday from 12 to 2 at Mother's Nest.
Wow. So not only are they able to get diapers, and what about formula? Do you guys provide formula as well?
Yes.
As well as food?
Exactly. To help with the food insecurity that the mothers may face. So we do provide food every Monday from 12 to 2 at Mother's Nest. No identifications needed, just they have to be from Macon-Bibb since the grant was given under, from Macon-Bibb.
Absolutely. And so, when you talk about a child, particularly infant size, the needs of the mother has to be met in order for the needs for the child to be met. Because a lot of times, as we were having our discussion, if the mother's going through certain things, then, the baby becomes lacking those things. And so by you providing things to help the mother, it helps the child in the process.
Absolutely. It could influence the school, the truancy rate at school, because if the mom is going through it or the caretaker is going through it, so does the child. Child's not going to do well at school because the mom is stressed out. So the baby or the child feel that same stress that the mom may feel in the household. So whatever is going on in the household affects everything in the household, meaning grades from the school, the kids being absent from school, the baby not being fed because mom is not really feeling herself. So that's when we have to step in and see what we can do to help keep the family functioning as a unit.
Absolutely. And so how can the community assist your organization in providing the needs that you provide to the community? How can someone out in the community that says, I want to be a help to the organization, how can they do that?
They could basically give donations because Mother's Nest is funded. We're a 501c3. So any donation that a person give is tax deductible. So we're funded basically from community donations or grants. That's all we get to fund Mother's Nest. If somebody really wants to help, they can drop off a donation at Mother's Nest. We're located at 1064 Pinone Avenue. They can mail it, or they could find us on Mother's Nest webpage, which is mothersnestga.org. So, and like I said, the donations are tax deductible, and it would go a long way because everything that we do is from local donorship or grants, and it would definitely help us out a lot.
Absolutely. Just here recently, we've heard in the news where different formulas have been recalled or had some type of adverse effect, with infants. You guys do you get publications or news releases as it relates to those kinds of things through your organization?
We do, because we get our formula from the Middle Georgia Food Bank. So they get the formula from those different organizations. So they would send us notification if things have been recalled or out of stock or having issues with those. So we get notification from the Middle Georgia Food Bank, and we rely on them.
Wonderful. Are there any other agencies that you guys have partnered with in the past that or you guys just solely do everything on your own?
No, there's no way. We don't do anything in silos. We partner with United Way, the Family Counseling Center, the Kobe Center, Family Advancement Ministries, to just name a few, and the health department. So we have all those collaborative partners because it really takes all those partnerships to meet the needs of our community. And it shouldn't be any silos, because when people operate in silos, or when organization operates in silos, then it benefits nobody.
Absolutely.
So we have to work together in partnership, in collaboration. Doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, Black, white, Mexican, or Hispanic, whatever. We all are Americans in this country, and we need to work together. Right.
Absolutely. Now, you being the executive director, what was the motivating factor to even start the Mother's Nest?
Well, it was twofold. First, I was a teen mom. I became a mom at the age of 14, and I had no resources, and I didn't know what to do. So, and then coupled with that, as I grew older, I joined the local police department because I wanted to go in the military, but I couldn't because I had a child and a teen mom. So I saw up close and personal firsthand what people were fighting about: formula, diaper, milk. Those are the things that the moms and the fathers or boyfriends or baby daddies were always fighting about, things pertaining to the babies. And then I coupled that with what I experienced as a teen mom, things that I didn't have. So I said, when I ever got into a position, which is now 4 years ago, that I would start an organization and provide those different resources so I can help somebody, because I believe that if you see a problem, you should always attack it with a solution to that problem and do everything that you can to help out.
Absolutely. And so seems that you're doing a great work in the community. And how long have you guys been doing this?
Since 2022, and we have over 600 families that we've helped.
Wow.
And every day somebody has a need, and we do everything that we can to fulfill those needs.
And I know that you mentioned 2022. Just prior to that, of course, we were experiencing COVID. and a lot of those types of things. And there were a lot of businesses established, I guess, during that time. People had more time to think about what they really wanted to do, and they had the time on their hands to actually do it. Was this a motivating force as well for you, or you already had in your mind something of this nature that you wanted to do?
Well, actually, I'm glad you said that because we also, Friday Management Group is also like in partnership with Mother's Nest, and we are in the same building space. And we were already providing transportation to the Macon Transitional Center through a partnership with the Central Georgia Department of Corrections. So with that, seeing the men incarcerated and not being able to provide any funding or send anything home for their mothers and their babies, that also kind of drove me to make the decision in starting Mother's Nest and giving back, A, through COVID, and B, seeing it as when I was growing up.
Absolutely. And, being a single parent is not easy. Not only does the mother have to take care of the child, but also has to provide for the child as in a form of, working somewhere and having that experience yourself and just kind of seeing the need and how important it is to be able to, provide for your family and have other resources to aid with that. I'm sure went into play when you decided to do the business as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because you see the need, but you don't have all the missing pieces to put it all together until you get all the, the qualifying things, where it's going through Mercer to get my degree or taking some parental training or learning how to do the safe sleep and putting all those resources together to provide those services to the moms that come in our door for help.
Well, we certainly thank you for being part of the Mother's Nest and providing the services that you provide to the community. There's always something that we can do, if we put our minds to it and we see a need and address it as individuals. And so it's inspiring, I'm sure, to other people who are listening, that you don't have to just, depend on your job. If you see a need, focus on that need and come up with a solution and put that solution to work. And I'm sure the community can appreciate it because of all the rewards that come from that. And so we salute you in your effort. And of course, I've run across your path many times because you've spoken to the commissioners and those kinds of things to let them know what you guys are actually doing in the community. And as an organization, we applaud your work as well, because we know that it's affecting our people in a very positive manner. And we always try to support organizations that are doing that. And so is there anything else you want to let the listening audience know about you guys? You can give them also your location once again and how they can actually donate towards your organization.
Absolutely. But I want to bring the audience attention to the 11th through the 17th of April is Black Maternal Health Week, where it has been said and researched through the CDC and the March of Dimes that African American women are 2 to 3 times more likely to die during childbirth than any other race. And it shouldn't be, because having a baby should be the most joyful occasion in a mom's life. But in our society, especially African American women, it's not, because they're hit with racism or lacking the resources that they need to have a healthy and strong baby. And that's another reason why I became a doula. A doula is that support person that the mom may need during her pregnancy, so I can be her voice when she's afraid to speak up for herself. I can encourage her to speak up for herself. And if anybody wants to give any donations or learn more about Mother's Nest, we're located at 1064 Pinona Avenue, right next door to the post office. That's 1064 Pinona Avenue, Macon, Georgia, 31204. Or you can visit us on our webpage, mothersnestga.org, and there's a link on there saying donate if you want to.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Sabrina Friday, Executive Director of Mother's Nest. Thank you for coming on and in the future, we'll probably have you back on just to talk about some of the things that you guys continue to do in the community.
Absolutely.
I know you have another function you've got to attend, and so my guest that we were going to have two guests today, and she's attending that very same function. And so I applaud you for being here and taking the time to interview. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Also, as we move forward a little bit, I want to talk a little bit about something that's occurring this weekend. It's called the Community Healing Session, which will deal with grief support. And this is going to be sponsored by Piedmont, along with Family Counseling. And it's also one other sponsor. Let's see what. Macon-Bibb County is also one of the sponsors. And so this is going to be held April 16th of 2026 from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And it says, please join us and come together to support one another and begin the healing process as a community. This will be a safe space to talk, listen, support one another, and receive guidance from professionals experienced in grief and trauma and crisis support. This event is free. No registration is required, and it will be held at the Rosie Jackson Recreation Center, located at 1211 Maynard Street, Macon, Georgia, 31216. Any questions that anyone would have, they can locate them or call them at 478-745-2811. Once again, that number is 478-745-2811. And as I mentioned, this will come from the Family Counseling Center. They will be on hand to actually address some of the issues dealing with grief and trauma. And we know that here in our Middle Georgia area, we've had a lot of violence that has occurred within this first part of the year. And when you have violence like that, trauma is always involved, particularly when you've got younger people that may be involved in violence. And so this would be a great opportunity for individuals to get the help that they need. One thing about it, mental health is real. And for a long time, people have had this misnomer about mental health. And we should take care of our mental health as well as our physical health. And so this is an opportunity to do so. And so please take advantage of this opportunity. Free opportunities that help us don't always come, that often. So if you get an opportunity, go over to the Rosa Jackson Center this Saturday, April 16th, at beginning at 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And look forward to seeing you there, and hopefully you will be there. We have an election coming up right now. Early voting has been taking place, District 5, commissioner's race, and the turnout hasn't been exceptional, but hopefully people will continue to go and to vote. They still have time to do so, and so that election will be culminating pretty soon. And so get out the vote. It's important that you do so. A lot of the decisions that are made in our community are because of the people we elect. And so we got to get more serious about the people that we place in office so that we can have a voice in what happens in our community. And as long as we don't vote, we don't have that voice. Of course, with everything that's happening around us these days, particularly in the nation right now, there are a lot of concerns. And so we have the midterm elections coming up, the gubernatorial elections coming up. And so you have an opportunity to make some changes. And the only way to do that is by practicing your constitutional right of voting. And we may not always have that right. So we've got to do our part to do the things that we know we can do. Well, that's going to end our show for today. Thank you for tuning in and being the best part of WDDO, being a listening part of our listening audience. We always thank you for tuning in to the various things we have to give to you. I have another event that I have to attend directly after this, and so I'm looking forward to doing that as well. So those of you who are listening, have a great evening. Enjoy yourself, and thank you for being the best part of WDDO. And it says tomorrow is the last day to vote for District 5. So take advantage and do so. Have a good evening.
You have been listening to the live broadcast of the NAACP with Gwenette Westbrook and Mr. Dumas. Come join us next Monday at 4 o'clock p.m. on 980 WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants